So here I'm going to write their incomes using the multiplier approach, meaning these would be their incomes or X is some number in, say, in rupees. And they're paying this percentage of their income, so the rent paid would be, total rent paid would be 15% for the case of Kamal, and then Amal pays 12%, so that would be 12. And I'll leave this in this more general form and then worry about simplifying at the very end, then 18% for Vimal. And they tell us that the rent remains unchanged, but their incomes increase. So their new incomes would be, for a case of Kamal, would be multiplier 1.1. That's 110% of the original income. And that for Amal would be 1.12 times 6x, and then finally 1.15 times 5x. So their combined income is that. We need to find the rent paid as a percentage. So that's the rent paid. Trying to save time. That's probably what I would do in the exam. And then to convert that into percent, I have to multiply by 100. So you'll see that 100 drops out. So the quantity I need, and you'll see the x term also drops out because it's a ratio problem. And then that would be in the denominator. The x's drop out. And then I can compute this 120, 12 times 6 is 72, 90. And then I have this denominator. So at this stage, you want to use a calculator because it's not like these numbers are nice enough to just do it by hand. Some of it you can do. So that's 192 plus 90. So it's 282 over this. And if you compute this, you will get very close to 13.26, which is the answer. Now, there's one other thing we can do conceptually is that if we compute the original rent ratio, which would be that, which we just did, 282, divided by, so without the increase, so that would be 8 plus 6 plus 5, you'll find that that turns out to be 14.84%. So we know that can't be the answer. Because their incomes have gone up, the percentage would have to be lower than 14.84. So we know we can also eliminate that. So if we were just doing it that way, it will be down to these two choices. And of course, you'll have to do some work to decide between those two. But with just that approximation, you can at least eliminate half the choices and maybe guess one of these. But of course, doing it directly, getting the answer is the most efficient. So to summarize, the answer is B.